Hi again. Welcome to the continuation of lectures on civil procedure. We are now on the remedies after judgment. The first of the remedies after a judgment decision or final order disposing of the case entirely is new trial. Now, what are the grounds and period for the filing of a motion for new trial or reconsideration? Okay, remember that new trial as well as motion for reconsideration is a remedy after the court has already issued a decision or a judgment or a final order disposing of the case. So aside from appeal, okay, you also have the remedy of either filing a motion for new trial or a motion for reconsideration. Now, a motion for new trial must be filed within the period for taking an appeal, meaning 15 days after receipt of the decision or after receipt of the final order disposing of the case. Um, Now, what are the grounds that can be uh, invoked for the purpose of filing a motion for new trial? Okay, we have PAME, fraud, accident, mistake, or excusable negligence, which ordinary prudence uh, could not have guarded at the trial against, and by reason of which such aggrieved party has probably been impaired in his rights. Okay, so these are extrinsic to the judgment. So when the judgment or decision was arrived upon or attended to by fraud, accident, mistake, or excusable negligence, then you can invoke it as a ground for the filing of a new trial. The second one is newly discovered evidence, which he could not with reasonable diligence have discovered at the trial and which if presented would probably alter the result. Okay, so another remedy after judgment is a motion for reconsideration. Now, what are the grounds for a motion for reconsideration? First, the damages awarded are excessive. The evidence is insufficient to justify the decision or that the decision or final order is contrary to law. So these grounds pertain to the judgment itself, to the judgment, decision, or final order itself. So unlike a new trial in which the grounds that can be relied upon or invoked are extrinsic to the judgment, when you file an MR or a reconsideration, you are attacking the judgment itself on the ground that it is contrary to law or that it is not justified by the evidence or that the damages that are awarded are excessive. Now, what are the contents of a motion for new trial or reconsideration? The motion shall be in writing and shall state the grounds, a written notice of which shall be served upon the other party. It shall be supported by affidavit of merits. Okay, and shall be supported by the affidavits of witnesses by whom such evidence is expected to be given or duly authenticated documents. So, if you are filing a motion for new trial and you are invoking pain or fraud, accident, mistake, or excusable negligence, you have to support it with affidavit of merits. Okay, as well as the affidavit of persons who can testify as to the existence of those grounds. And also, if you are invoking newly discovered evidence, it must also be supported by the affidavit of the witnesses which is newly discovered. Okay, so the court will be informed beforehand of the substance of his testimony, and the court will be able to judge whether or not it could influence or even alter or reverse the decision. Okay? And if it is a document, then you must append it to the motion. Okay. On the other hand, if you're filing a reconsideration, you must point out specifically the findings or conclusions of the judgment or final order which are not supported by the evidence or which are contrary to law. In other words, the MR should have an assignment of errors in the judgment. Okay, so you must specifically identify the portion, the decision or judgment which you think is contrary to law or are not supported by the evidence and why and the reason for your contention. A pro forma motion for new trial or reconsideration shall not toll the reglementary period for. So for the MR or the motion for new trial to stop the running of the period to appeal, it has to be sufficient in form and substance, meaning it must be in conformity with the requirements of the rules. So if it is a motion for new trial, the grounds, therefore, okay, must be stated and you must support it with the corresponding affidavits of the witnesses. On the other hand, if it is a motion for reconsideration, you must state in detail the specific points in the decision which is contrary to law or are not supported by the evidence. New trial is a motion filed within the period for taking an appeal, asking the court to set aside the judgment or final order and grant a new trial. As I've said, okay, if it is based on pain, it should be supported by affidavit of merits. On the other hand, if it is based on newly discovered evidence, you must attach to the motion the affidavit of the witnesses who, if presented, could have affected the decision of the court or the duly authenticated documents. Now, what are the requirements for newly discovered evidence? When can you say that an evidence is newly discovered? First, the evidence was discovered after trial. That is the reason for the term newly discovered, meaning at the time when the trial is ongoing, that evidence is not yet available despite reasonable diligence exercised by the parties as well as the counsel. Evidence could not have been discovered and produced during trial even with the exercise of reasonable diligence, and that evidence is material and not merely corroborative, cumulative, or impeaching, and if admitted would probably alter the result. Okay, so the evidence is very important that if it has been presented, the court would have arrived at a different decision. Okay, so the evidence must not only be newly discovered, but must be very material to the case, that it would have altered the decision of the court. Okay. Action or upon motion for new trial or reconsideration. So now, after a new trial or reconsideration has been given due course, the trial court may set aside the final order and decision and grant a new trial or may deny the motion. If there is excessive damages, whether the judgment or final order is contrary to the evidence, the decision may be amended. The decision or the final order may be amended accordingly. So if the motion for new trial is granted, okay, it doesn't mean that all the other evidence which was previously taken or received by the court will be set aside. Okay, so the court will receive further evidence relative to the ground that is invoked for new trial. If it is pain, then it will receive evidence as to the existence of the said grounds. If it is newly discovered, then it will receive the testimony of the witness Okay, or it will receive as evidence the document which is newly discovered. Okay, now is a second motion for new trial allowed? Okay, the section 5 states that a motion for new trial shall include all grounds then available, and those not so included shall be waived. A second motion for new trial based on a ground not existing nor available when the first motion was made may be filed within the time provided, excluding the time during which the first motion was pending. No party shall be allowed a second MR of a judgment or final order. So with respect to new trial, since there are different grounds extrinsic to the judgment, okay, second motion for new trial is allowed provided that it is not the same as the first ground and it was discovered after the first motion was filed. But it must be filed also within the period for taking an appeal, excluding, okay, the time when the first motion for new trial was filed. So, for example, if the motion for new trial was filed on the 5th day of the 15-day period, then you still have 10 days, the remaining 10 days within which to file the second motion for new trial invoking a different ground. But that is not allowed with respect to motions for reconsideration. Why? Because motions for reconsideration pertain to the judgment itself. So you must invoke all the grounds available, okay, all the errors that you think are committed by the court when it rendered the judgment. Okay. What is the effect of granting of a motion for new trial? If a new trial is granted, the original judgment or final order shall be vacated and the action shall stand for trial de novo. But the recorded evidence taken upon the trial insofar as the same is material and competent to establish the issues shall be used at the new trial without retaking the same. So as I've said, when you say trial de novo, it does not mean that the court will disregard all the other evidences that have been presented. But the court will merely conduct trial for the purpose of determining whether indeed the grounds invoked for a motion for new trial indeed exist. Okay? But the evidence that was previously taken will still form part of the records of the case insofar as it is material and competent to establish the issues. Okay? Partial new trial or reconsideration. If the grounds for a motion appear to the court to affect the issues as to only a part or less than all of the matter in controversy, or only one or less than all of the parties to it, the court may order a new trial or grant reconsideration as to such issues if severable, without interfering with the judgment or final order upon the rest. Okay, so you can have a partial new trial or reconsideration. Now, what is the effect of the order for partial new trial? When less than all of the issues are ordered retried, the court may either enter a judgment or final order as to the rest or stay the enforcement of such judgment or final order until after the new trial. Now, what is the remedy? Okay. The remedy against an order denying a motion for new trial. So if a motion for new trial or reconsideration is denied, okay, the remedy is not appeal. The remedy, you don't appeal the order or the order denying the motion for new trial or reconsideration. What you appeal is the decision itself. Okay? The ordinary appeal, okay, is available for the judgment or final order disposing of the case and file. So it is not the order denying the motion for new trial or reconsideration that is appealable, but the judgment or final order disposing of the case and file. Okay? What are the manifestations of lack of diligence? Remember the requirements for newly discovered evidence. Okay, the evidence must not have been discovered during the trial, despite the exercise of reasonable diligence, and the evidence is material as to affect the judgment itself. Now, when can you say that there was lack of diligence on the part of the party or of the counsel? Okay, when the newly discovered evidence was necessary or proper, and its existence occurred to the party in the preparation of the case, but no effort was made to secure it. Okay, so that was a manifestation of lack of diligence. There is failure to make inquiry on persons who are likely to know the facts. There is failure to seek evidence available through public records. There is failure to discover evidence that is within the control of the complaining party through the resort to discovery procedures. There is failure to follow leads contained in other evidence. And there is failure to utilize discovery procedures. With respect to motions for reconsideration, of course, you already know the grounds that the damages are excessive, that the decision is contrary to law, or that the decision is not supported by the evidence. Okay. As I've said, for an MR not to be considered as pro forma, you should point out specifically, okay, that portion of the decision that is contrary to law or not supported by the evidence. Okay, as I've said, a second MR is not allowed. And the court will resolve the MR within a month from the time that it's submitted for resolution. Now, what happens if the court grants the MR? Okay, if the court finds that excessive damages were awarded, or that judgment is contrary to the evidence or law, it may amend such judgment or final order. Okay. If the motion for new trial or MR is denied, the remedy is to file an appeal of the decision or the final order disposing of the case. Remember that you're not allowed to file an extension of a motion for new trial or a motion for reconsideration. So it must be filed within 15 days from receipt of the decision or final order. Okay, the only extension that is allowed is a motion for extension of time to file an answer. No other pleadings is allowed to be extended. Okay, we now go to the case of Mendezona versus Osamis. So in this case, a deed of sale with use of fructuary rights executed by Osamis was sought to be annulled on the ground that it was simulated. Petitioners moved for a new trial or reception of evidence claiming that the RTC Judge Durias, whose name cropped up as possible witness as early as the pre-trial, could testify as to the mental condition of the vendor. Okay, however, the motion for a new trial was denied. Okay, the Supreme Court said, we find the requirement of reasonable diligence has not been met. As early as the pre-trial, the name of the witness has already cropped up as a possible witness for the defendants. Respondents chose not to present him is not an indicia per se of suppression of evidence, since a party in a civil case is free to choose who to present as witness. Neither can Judge Duria's testimony in another case be considered as newly discovered evidence, since the facts to be testified to by the judge, which were existing before and during the trial, would have been presented by the petitioners at the trial below. The testimony of Judge Durias has been in existence, waiting only to be elicited from him by questioning. It has been held that a lack of diligence is exhibited when the newly discovered evidence was necessary or proper under the pleadings, and its existence must have occurred to the party in the course of the preparation of the case, but no effort was made to secure it. Thus, the testimony of Judge Durias cannot be considered as newly discovered evidence to warrant a new trial. Okay, so if the evidence was already existing during the presentation of evidence of the plaintiff, then okay, it cannot be considered as a newly discovered evidence. PNB versus Paneda. So in this case, private respondent De Vera bought a parcel of land from PNB. PNB placed in possession De Vera, who started to introduce improvements. Now, an action for quieting of title was filed by Paneda, plaintiff respondent's John, against De Vera, and the latter filed a third-party complaint against PNB. Now, the court rendered judgment declaring John to be the lawful possessors and owners of the lot. Now, PNB filed a motion for new trial and reconsideration. The trial court, finding the third-party defendant PNB's motion as pro forma, denied the same. And the court said that it did not toll the period for appeal, and therefore the decision is now final and executed. Now, the issue is whether petitioner's motion for a new trial is pro forma. Hence, it did not toll the running of the period to appeal. The Supreme Court said the subject motion actually consists of two motions, a motion for a new trial and a motion for reconsideration. While the court agrees that the motion for a new trial lacks merit, for the reason that the documents sought to be presented are not newly discovered, the court does not agree that the motion for reconsideration is pro forma. Okay, the court even said the mere reiteration in a motion for reconsideration of the issues raised by the parties and passed upon by the court does not make a motion pro forma. Otherwise, the movant's remedy would not be a reconsideration, but a new trial or some other remedy. Okay, so the mere fact that in the motion for reconsideration, it is a mere reiteration of the issues raised in the memorandum, okay, that was previously filed, does not make it a pro forma motion. As long as you have satisfied the condition that you must specifically point out the findings in the decision that are contrary to law or are not supported by the evidence. Among the ends to which a motion for reconsideration, it is to convince the court that its ruling is erroneous or is contrary to law or to the evidence. In doing so, the movant has to dwell of necessity upon the issues passed upon by the court. If a motion for reconsideration may not discuss these issues, the consequence would be that after a decision is rendered, the losing party would be confined to filing only motions for reopening and new trial. Okay, so even if it is a mere rehash of the issues which were already discussed in the memorandum, that would not make a motion for reconsideration pro forma. Remember that a motion for reconsideration is its purpose is to give the court a final chance to correct itself, okay, by revisiting the decision and re-examining whether it arrived at the correct findings. A motion for reconsideration is deemed pro forma if the same does not specify the findings or conclusions in the judgment which are not supported by the evidence or contrary to law, making express reference to the pertinent evidence or legal provisions. It is settled that although an MR may merely reiterate issues already passed upon by the court, that by itself does not make it pro forma and is immaterial because what is essential is compliance with the rules. The averments found in the MR point out specifically the findings or conclusions in the judgment of the RTC which are not supported by the evidence or which are contrary to law. And the motion states additional specific reasons for those grounds. Okay. I would like to summarize the topic of motion for new trial or motion for reconsideration. Okay, when should a motion for new trial and motion for reconsideration may be availed of? Okay, it may be availed of to set aside the judgment or decision of the trial court. It may be availed of to set aside a final order which disposes of the entire case. Example would be an order granting a demurrer to evidence. Okay, if an order granting a demurrer to evidence is issued, it disposes of the entire case. Okay, in that instance, you can avail of a motion for new trial or a motion for reconsideration. Again, when is the period to file a new trial or recon? It must be filed within the period for taking an appeal, which is 15 days after receipt of the judgment or final order. Now, what are the grounds for new trial? The grounds for new trial are extrinsic to the judgment, such as fraud, accident, mistake, excusable negligence, and newly discovered evidence. How is it proved? It is proved through an affidavit of merit for fame or affidavits of witnesses for newly discovered evidence. A second motion for new trial is allowed if based on a different ground and must be filed within the remaining period for filing an appeal, excluding the period during which the first motion for new trial was filed. Now, what are the grounds for motion for reconsideration? These are errors of judgment, such as when the damages awarded are excessive, the evidence is insufficient to justify the decision, and the decision is contrary to law. Okay, the requirement is it must specifically point out the findings in the judgment or order which is contrary to law or not supported by the evidence. And the second MR is a prohibited use. Okay? So that's all for new trial and reconsideration. Thank you for listening.